The stars of General Hospital, would you welcome Finola Hughes? Nice to see you.
How'd you do?
Oh, I heard so much about you by a friend of
I
yours.
bet you have a common friend, yes.
Isn't he a funny fellow?
He's very funny.
Of course, you know him from a different angle. He's probably not funny at all times.
Yes, he's pretty funny at home.
Finola's friend is Michael Prade, who plays the young prince on Dynasty. And that's quite a romance, isn't it?
Well, which one? The one on Dynasty?
He said it was. No, with you, Finola.
Oh, yes. Well, we've known each other for 2 years. And
what does that mean these days?
Well...
Is that like an engagement, a 3-year?
I don't know. But it's an actual engagement. But we've known each other for 3 years.
The tabloids are printing, dates almost.
I know. Well, there was one in one of the magazines last week saying that we were going to get married twice. And I read it when I was sort of at the supermarket. And it said we were going to get married here and in England. And like this is
right here on my show?
Yeah, right here.
Oh my.
And then once but I hadn't heard anything about that. So of course I rang him and I said, "Are we getting married here in England?" And he said that he didn't know of it either. So.
Oh, he didn't take the hint from that rather forward.
I wasn't hinting.
You were.
No, I wasn't.
Interesting. Relationships nowadays don't necessarily lead to marriage.
No.
That wouldn't have worked in their early years. That's the first thing you learn. Always blame it on the audience. Don't take responsibility for your age. No, see, that wouldn't have worked some years ago.
No, I suppose it wouldn't. It was different then, maybe. But I think that life now is different, and we each have our own responsibilities. And when I was in England, I had my own house, and I was busy working, and Michael was busy working. I hardly ever saw him because
you would let him into your house for once in a while.
Occasionally, I would.
The door wasn't shut against him.
No, it wasn't shut against him.
But sometimes that piece of paper. Now, it wasn't too long ago. A couple who had been together 48 years and had 4 or 5 children.
I read that too.
Wasn't that awful? And so they decided to get married on their...
But everybody thought they were married, and that was really funny.
And they got married in front of all their children, and 2 weeks later, they got a divorce. They said, oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't read that.
Oh, yeah. They said, oh, no, that's the worst.
Oh, that's terrible.
That little piece of paper.
Yeah, maybe... I think it does affect people that way sometimes, doesn't it?
It takes the mystery out of it. It's kind of, will she, will he, will they? And then if it's all right there, you're married and...
I suppose maybe nowadays it doesn't matter quite so much. People aren't quite so firm about it, getting married and having that piece of paper.
He used a wonderful word. We took our show to the Dynasty set and did it right from here. And Michael gave one of the funniest interviews of all time. But he has a British accent, even though he's a prince of
Moldavia.
Doesn't
exist.
No. And at his wedding, everyone on Dynasty was wiped out, and then you see them get up one by one if they didn't ask for a raise during the summer. And he was interesting, but he used a terribly verse. He talked about how he loved baseball. He went out to one of these machines that you get a ball going 40 miles an hour, shoots at 60 and 80. The 40, something was wrong with it, too slow, and the 60 was out of order, and they pitched the ball 80 miles an hour, and it hit the floor, and then hit him in a very bad spot that could keep a couple from being married. And he said, and Merv, and he got excited, and he got very British, and he said, it just came at me, and I whacked the ball. I said, you whacked the ball. We don't know. Over here, we cut up a TH. You whacked the ball. So he whacked it.
He whacked it. Oh, that's terribly English. That's very...
Is that very English?
Yes, it's actually very public school English, which is sort of like Tom Brown school days.
Yeah.
And
public school is, in England, is private school.
It's like another country. I don't know whether people have seen that film or whatever. It's very English, and it's a tradition. And they have words like that, which are delicious.
Yeah, wonderful.
Really, really
wonderful. Can you call any others that you don't hear here?
Oh, gosh, everything is simply marvelous. And things
simply, well, Gina. We have Gina Warwick on. Who's
right,
she's
of course.
social producer, and she's terribly British. Everything is simply marvelous. It was a marvelous show and a marvelous interview.
Oh, yes. We just met out there, actually.
She and Billy Crystal get along great together. You look marvelous. Oh, you're marvelous, too.
like that video. It's
Yeah,
great.
that is cute, yeah. But there are really good words, because thwacked really says it. I thwacked them all.
Yes.
It's difficult for us
Thwacked.
to do. This is an interesting name. You're my first Finola.
Oh, yes. Well, it's Irish, of course. Finola.
Well, I am Irish.
I know you are.
And I don't know any Finolas.
Yes. My father is Irish. And,
His name was Finola, too?
No, his name was William Joseph.
William
Joseph Hughes. He was terribly Irish.
Oh,
He
my.
was a grand man, yes.
I'm sure he was Irish.
And,
Finola is Irish.
it is.
Paris. Northern?
No. Of course.
Island.
Well, it's an old Irish legend about a king who turns his daughter into a swan because they're being threatened by something or other. Her name is Finola, and there's two other swans which are her brothers. And so my father saw the spelling in a book, and he really liked it, and so I got the name.
Named you for a swan.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty?
Well, we grew up in Ireland a lot. We were over there a lot in Cork, County Cork.
Isn't that
I love
great
it.
country?
Oh, I love it. I love it there. The people are so friendly.
It's misunderstood, I think, in America, and they worry about that in Ireland, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I think the tourist business was terribly hurt
Really?
because of the bombings in Northern
Ireland. You see, it's very different. The troubles aren't down in Southern Ireland quite so much. Of course, if you go up to Dublin, you know, you're treading near the surface a bit. But in Southern Ireland, it's just wonderful. And the people are so friendly and giving, and it's green everywhere.
It is green.
It's
Yeah,
really green.
we hear that growing up in America. Oh, it's green, but then when you see
It is. It's really, and it smells different. It smells like grass, green grass.
Mm-hmm. And they have wonderful expressions.
Oh,
when you stop and ask for directions, how do you get to Glen?
Oh, don't ask for directions.
Well, it's the only way you get somebody really to talk to you.
Oh, but they're terrible. How do you go off the road there and you turn left and then you turn right again and then you're going along there and then when you get to there you got to turn right again and they go on and on and on. By the time you got there, you know.
And then they say this wonderful phrase at the end, and after you turn right over here, darling, then you go down to a Murphy's Bar and you go down there left and then right again and then you go into the wee. Geez, I'm going to go into the weed. Isn't that like into infinity?
That's right. And they map everything by where the bars are. So they're saying you go down there and when you get to the next head you turn right, and then when you get to the Leinster you turn left again. Then when you get down this bar and that bar, they go on and on. They sort of map everything out by where the various public houses are.
And they have a wonderful switch on their humor. At the end, they come around another door like this and give you a good shot as you're leaving. That's really funny.
That's right. They do. They tend to.
I had lunch last St. Patrick's Day with the Prime Minister.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So he said, now have you come to Ireland and do your show, Merv? And I said, I'd love to. And I said, but I don't know if we could get away with the things we do in America. He says you can get away with anything there. So I told him the story of one night I was in Limerick.
Oh,
you know Limerick?
Yes, very well.
And I was leaving the next day on a plane to come back, and there was a little lady there. She was whacked out of her head. She was what?
Dorcas.
She was Dorcas.
Ah, she was Dorcas.
Whoa, she's Dorcas. And she had her little flower hat and a little cockeyed by now. So my wife and I were sitting there. She said, darling, you're lovely. And my wife said, thank you. She said, what are you doing married to this Italian? And I said, gee, I'm more Irish than she is. And she said, you're Americans, aren't you, darling? I said, yeah. And she said, you know, you got a lovely president. President Kennedy was president at the time. And we said, oh, yes, we know. She said, you know, he's Irish Catholic. And I said, we heard a lot about that in the election, if you recall. And she said, he's wonderful. And he's married, you know, to the most beautiful Irish Colleen that ever lived. And I said, no. I said, yes, she said she's Jacqueline Fitzgerald Kennedy. I said, no, he's John Fitzgerald Kennedy. She's Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy. She's what? I said, Bouvier, she's French. She said, French she is. Well, I didn't think she was so much anyway. And that's how they do that thing. And I told that to President Kennedy. And he just screamed. And he would make me tell that to people. He thought that was the funniest story.
It is.
Jackie didn't think that was a funny story. But they do have a delicious sense of humor.
They're lovely. And they're ice cream cool. They have a really great, they're mischievous sense of humor.
We'll return right after these commercial messages.